of 2023, the second last stop of the Bassmaster Elite Series, the Dakota Lithium Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain, and we return to Plattsburgh, New York, the scene of many, many incredible Bassmaster memories, and those memories are going to be made here in just a few hours, literally. The pressure is on. There is 8 days of competition. We have our Dakota Lithium Rookie of the Year race. We have our Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year race to decide all sorts of Bassmaster Classic berths. And Davey Height, I would say the water with our on-location coverage is unhospitable. That's a positive way to put it.
That is a very positive way to put it. I've been out there. You have too on this particular lake. It was so beautiful this morning, and it's still beautiful standing here on the shore. But calm conditions. They had extremely calm conditions in practice. Some of the anglers were even saying, I wish the wind would blow. The smallmouth bite a little better when the wind. And I'm like, oh, do not ever say that here on Lake Champlain. It has picked up from very calm this morning, probably 2 or 3 mile an hour, to about 15 to 20 out of the south, which is a big deal here, as you well know. This lake really lays north to south, and when it comes north or south, especially if you're on the northern end from the south, oh, it can be very interesting. We'll have some stories that weigh in, no doubt.
And the scary thing is it gets worse as you come back. So you're down in Ticonderoga, and you're thinking, I figured these are the conditions I'm running back. You're halfway home, and it's way worse than you expected. What happens then, Davey?
Well, you start trying to rush things. You try to get in a little bit of a hurry, and that's when you start, let's say, just taking a little water over the front sometimes, and then you start taking equipment off your boat if you really get in a hurry doing that. So, honestly, if it continues to blow like this afternoon, the trip from Mallett's Bay to check-in here will be very interesting. We'll see some guys with rain suits on, and there's hardly a cloud in the sky.
Well, that just makes me think of one group. I hope the service crews are relaxing. I hope they had a very relaxing morning, kicked back, had a great breakfast, because they're going to be busy this afternoon, I would imagine. Let's have a look at our Dakota Lithium Bassmaster Elite at Lake Champlain leaderboard. And Alex Redwine, for the first time, is an Elite Series leader with 22 pounds and 2 ounces. And Koya Fujita, just when everybody wants to give this Rookie of the Year race to the cowboy, Koya says, I'm not going out quietly.
He is not. Well, he is a little quiet, I will say that, but he's not going out quietly as far as Rookie of the Year. You're exactly right, Dave. And just so interesting to see the mixture of anglers we have and some of the smallmouth hammers that we're used to seeing. Let's say a Seth Fighter, the Johnson brothers. I don't see them there right now. Maybe they just don't have their bass track going.
Well, let's catch up on all the doings with your Toyota Midday Report. And let's start with an 8-time Classic qualifier, Keith Combs.
Yeah, definitely got to watch Keith Combs when you come up here. And he's known certainly to be a southern guy that likes to crank. Well, you can certainly throw a crankbait up north. Right there, he's swinging a nice smallmouth in this morning for Keith Combs on a crankbait. He's not a guy that likes to throw a drop shot as much. He's more of a jerkbait. Here's a really good fish on a jerkbait for Keith Combs. So he's a fun guy to watch. Had a good start. Not as many numbers for him today, but a good mixture of seeing some crankbait and jerkbaits mixed in.
Your Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year leader, the COBB, Brandon Cobb.
Well, you really couldn't draw up any better coming into the final 2 events back-to-back up north with only 1 point separating Kyle Welcher and Brandon Cobb. Brandon Cobb having a good, solid day today, currently unofficially in 18th place. Last I checked, I think he was around about 14 or 15 pounds, somewhere in there. So a good, solid start. Plenty of time to upgrade. So a good day for Brandon Cobb. And a lot of people thought, man, when you go up north, he's going to lose that lead. And he's really held on good. A good tournament last event there at St. Clair. And having a good, solid start here today.
The one scary thing is, he told me earlier this week, he said the one thing that he worries about is rough water. He just says it's not something he's comfortable in fishing in, and he said, to win Angler of the Year, I need the weather to play in my favor a little bit. Another guy who's not a huge fan of the rough water is Hank Cherry. Talks about it all the time, but man, he catches them in the north.
He really does, and I got to expand on that a little bit. If you don't know Hank Cherry very well, he is one angler that, let's say, respects rough water more so than any other angler out here. He does not like it. Let's just say that. I think he has some vertigo issues also. But we can always count on Hank Cherry catching really good waist, whether it's largemouth or smallmouth. When he comes north, he just seems to really just blend in very, very well, being from North Carolina. Catches a lot of them on a jerkbait you see here. Some of them also on a drop shot and a Ned rig. But Hank Cherry loves to throw a jerkbait. And one thing about it, he might not like the rough conditions, but throwing a jerkbait and wind, they go like peanut butter and jelly, I must say.
Works out good for Hank Cherry, a 4-time Bassmaster winner, and obviously the back-to-back Bassmaster Classic champion. But if anybody is the scariest angler in the field, I'm not a big fantasy fishing player. But if I was, I'm going to tell you right now, you're insane if you did not pick Brian Schmidt. 2 wins here, 1 in the Opens and 1 in the Elite Series, and defending champion. Yeah,
the thing that's so interesting about Brian Schmidt, last time we were here, I think 21, I spent a good bit of time with Ashley out in the boat. You know, we're filming different things, different people. And you seem to, on all of these lakes, we saw it at St. Clair a few weeks ago, even though you have a huge body of water, you're going to see an area of the lake that's really happening, and you're going to have a group of boats. It was Anchor Bay at Lake St. Clair. And there's always like the inland sea, you're going to have a group. Rouse's Point, you're going to have a group here. Brian Schmidt fishes isolated things that not a lot of other guys fish, and I think that's what makes him so good here, because he kind of runs his own deal, and he always catches a mixture of largemouth and smallmouth. So he's not quite up there according to Bass Track where we thought he might be, but you always have to look out for him here. I think he'll be a player on Sunday.
He sure will, and another guy that, if you didn't pick him in fantasy fishing, what are you thinking? Seth Feider, 3 top 5s in a row here, and man, he has knocked at the door many times. Will he finally win a regular season Elite Series event this week?
I think one of the things that makes him so effective here, he fishes for largemouth and smallmouth here also.
It was a bass. It was a big one.
He likes to fish for those brown fish, but when things aren't happening, he can certainly mix it up and go and look for some vegetation and catch largemouth. I think that's what he's done today. He started out with smallmouth and go a little shallower for the largemouth. So it's...
You think it'll be a mixed bag to win this week?
Or
all smallmouth or all largemouth?
For the first time in a while, I tend to say, talking to the anglers, it'll be all smallmouth.
But they wanted it to be all largemouth. That's what I felt talking to the anglers.
Yeah.
Like, how many of them, really maybe only John Cox was the one that said, hey, I don't have a smallmouth rig in the boat. I am all largemouth. But every single one of them, even when they said they were going for smallmouth, you felt like they tried to make the largemouth the thing.
So even Greg Hackney, you know, we know how these guys, sometimes they kind of send you in the direction they want you to go with their thoughts. And he would not have been talking like this had he been planning on fishing largemouth. And he was like, man, it should really be happening, but I'm going smallmouth fishing, which is very unusual for Greg Hackney. I'm sure he would rather be up there fishing for largemouth.
It's a tiny baby.
Seth Feider, not shocking to anybody that's watched the Elite Series over the last number of years. Having a decent start to his day number 1, stop number 8. And Seth Feider catching them early and often.
Yeah, Seth Feider started out, like we said, with smallmouth, and you can see they weren't the size that he was hoping they would be. And then you see him mix it up, goes in the marina, around some boat docks, catches some largemouth, and I think that's what's made him somebody, you know, 3 top 5s is very, very impressive, no matter where you are. But the combination of fishing for both largemouth and smallmouth. But here's the one thing that I think is maybe hurting Seth Feider a little bit here this time, and some of the anglers that maybe we expected to see, the fish don't seem to be relating to the boulders here like they have in the past. A lot of the fish are suspended over deeper water, more so than I can ever remember. The high water having something to do with that. We're here a little later in the year. All those things could factor in.
Out live on the water, 4 box. Top 2 boxes, obviously the top 2 in Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Brandon Cobb and Kyle Welcher.
sure he got
Then,
it.
of course, a great shot of Keith Combs and Seth Feider.
Yeah, so we certainly have an Angler Year race on our minds here with just 2 events left, and 1 point separating Kyle Welcher and Brandon Cobb coming into this morning, and you see that gap now. It's much bigger, but I will say Kyle Welcher did a great job at St. Clair. It's kind of a similar situation. Cobb made up a lot of room on Kyle Welcher, but he made that cut, was able to fish Saturday, make some more of those points back up. So we like to keep track of it, but you have to wait till at least the end of the day, and then tomorrow being a big day for a lot of these races. Tomorrow afternoon, being able to make that cut or not being able to make that cut is going to, the Rookie of the Year and the Angler of the Year, it's a big deal.
Brandon Cobb came into this concerned with the rough weather. Said that's the one thing he feared. With 17 pounds 4 ounces, he's got his job done. You got to feel to defend today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he would like to have 22 pounds, but if he's saying 17.4, as we know, most guys, that means they've got about 18 pounds, which is a good solid day. He's definitely in good shape for today. On the other hand, Kyle Welcher would, 2 decent catches can be right there too.
Yeah.
17 pounds is certainly doable for him this early in the day.
Amazing story, really. We talked big bass, big stage, big dreams, and if Brandon Cobb is able to pull this off, and there's a lot of fishing yet to pin it on anybody. But man, I think when he was 12 years old, he entered a coloring contest, won a fishing trip with a 2-time Angler of the Year named Davey Height. And now you are maybe commentating his season where he becomes an angler. Like, when you just really think of that.
We're about to crank up and run
How
just in the middle
amazing
again. I think my grass is about played out. I think there's probably more in here, but I need to be able to pick it apart to catch them. And we're drifting so fast and bouncing around going up. I know there's more in here.
How do you manage all these from the wind like this?
I mean, it's really, you just got to stay where you think fish are, but you just don't fish it as effectively. That's all there is to it. You go too fast, or either you bounce in the waves and spook some fish probably. You got to just stay where you think fish are, though. I wish that fish would bite a lot better like dragging something, because you can drag and drift with the wind, but I just haven't done that good like actually dragging.
An update from Cobb, and go back to that story, but how cool is that to see it come full circle?
Oh, it's really amazing. Wouldn't that be something that I'll be looking for a coloring contest for 50-year-olds to go fishing with reigning Angler of the Years if all that does unfold. But geez, Dave, yeah, you really, the more you think about that, the more it's surreal. It really is.
Brandon Cobb came into this event with a 1-point lead in progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year points, and I don't think he was going to hold his sights set on one target. The ultimate target just to wait at the end of the day.
So I was really excited to come Champlain because my history here, I've done really well fishing for largemouth and catching some smallmouth mixed in. So I think at Champlain this week, you'll see some big largemouth caught. I hope to catch a few myself, but I think predominantly it's going to be smallmouth dominated. They're getting, with the front-facing sonar now, you're able to catch smallmouth that you essentially wouldn't have had any chance to catch before, just roamers out on bait, swimming around. So it's much easier to catch the smallmouth, but I think the largemouth still could play because they're big. They're bigger. You have a better chance to catch a kicker largemouth than a kicker smallmouth. You just catch solid average smallmouth.
Fishing shallow looks like it'll be your best bet because then you get largemouth and smallmouth.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
That's a sick largemouth. If you catch a couple like that this weekend, you'll probably do real good in your high school tournament.
Probably what stood out the most was the fit finish.
Quality. The room and fishability, man, was just amazing.
Huge compartments, big deep live wells, storage everywhere.
It's just a smooth ride overall.
That was a way smoother ride than I thought it was going to be.
Like riding a rocket when you come out of the hole.
The thing I love about this boat the most is the handling, steering, and performance of this boat.
Awesome. Very good ride.
Thumbs up. Enjoyed it.
You have to take a ride in it, see for yourself.
It's a new generation of boats that no one's ever seen before.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sunline.
What are they doing in heaven today? My sin and my sorrow have all washed away. Peace be bound like the river, they say. What are they doing right now?
Reliability. Yamaha is known for it. And it's something boaters value, because these days, few things are built to last. When we find something that is, we hold on to friendships, traditions, outboards, because every second on the water is sacred. If you count on having this time, you need an outboard you can count on to power it. That's why boaters choose Yamaha for the long run, for life, because reliability starts here.
Passed down through generations. The universal language that connects us all. Our tie to the natural world. A relentless pursuit. A way of life. At 13 Fishing, we're committed to crafting gear that pushes the limits of innovation and performance. Redesigning the sport of fishing.
The best of the best just got better. Clearer images, sharper resolution, improved target separation. That's right, better. LiveScope Plus. Only from Garmin.
For 75 years, Skeeter has been engineering boats like no other, proven with 21 consecutive NMMA Consumer Satisfaction Awards. And the tradition continues with the all-new 2023 ZXR19. All the options you're looking for in a size that fits your needs. 225 Yamaha Show, Helix Drafts, Minn Kota Fortrex 112, ready to fish right off the showroom floor. 75 years of engineering boats like no other. Experience one for yourself at your local dealer. Learn more at SkeeterBoats.com.
For nearly a decade, Russell Marine Products has been setting the standard for Lowrance electronics education and sales. We are excited to bring you the hottest deal on the Lowrance HDS 12 Live ever. Pair your new 12 Live with the all-new Active Target 2 for the best in forward-facing sonar. Head over to RussellMarineProducts.com and catch these deals along with the best education and service in the industry. While you are there, check out how our trade-in and trade-up program makes upgrading your electronics easy.
Think you know bass fishing? Time to prove it. Bassmaster has 2 fantasy games giving you even more opportunities to win. Play Rapala Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing and the Mercury Bassmaster Drain the Lake Challenge and put yourself in a position for a chance to win some great prizes, including a $15,000 shopping spree at Bass Pro Shops and fishing trips with Davey Hyde and Mark Zona. Every tournament is a chance to win, and there's more than $90,000 in prizes to be won in 2023. You can't win if you don't play, plus it's free. To find details, sign up, and play all season, visit BassmasterFantasy.com.
Yeah! No way!
You're watching live coverage of the Dakota Lithium